Heather York. I head marketing at Vitac, one of the world's largest providers of accessible media. And we are here to talk about transcription, localization, and more with Darren Cleary and Claire. First, I wanted to do some housekeeping. We have a 30-minute presentation planned. I promise it'll be fast. I apologize for missing the first 4 minutes. We all could talk for hours, so if you have any questions, please follow up afterwards. Verbit is a tech-forward company that offers the world's largest AI-based transcription platform. We were really excited about this acquisition, and since then, we've acquired US Captioning, a United States company that does real-time, and 2 months ago, Take One, a UK-based company with offices in the US and South America, and a company that offers almost the services that exactly align with what Vitac offers. It's very exciting, and we're all looking forward to this, which is why we're having this webinar. To tell you more about this match made in heaven, I have Claire Brown and Darren Cleary, and I hope they could introduce themselves very quickly. Claire, do you mind starting?
Sure, thanks Heather. Welcome everybody, thanks for jumping on. My name is Claire Brown, I'm the VP of Global Sales for Take One, and I've been in the media sector for over 20 years. I'm lucky enough to have worked on the vendor side for Redbee, a company in the UK, delivering access services, and also broadcasters such as the BBC, National Geographic Channel and FX. I've been at Take One for 6 years, and my role here is to look after global media brands and support them with their localization, access services and transcription needs. And yeah, super happy to be here. Great to be part of the Vitac team and also the wider Verbit family.
Great to have you. And we also have Darren Cleary, who has worked with me for a long time. Darren, tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Heather, and welcome to everyone who's taken time to join us today also. So I'm Darren Cleary. I'm Senior Vice President of Sales here at Vitac. I'm in my 32nd year with the company. I started off in 1991 as a production coordinator on the live side with Heather back in the day, and moved into sales in 1995. And currently I oversee Vitac's strategic sales team, which focuses on our large media and entertainment clients, mainly broadcast and cable networks, studios, and streaming platforms. And looking very much forward to working with Claire and the Take One team to expand our offerings through their services as well.
Sounds good. So I thought we'd start with Claire, just to give everybody a little background of Take One. Like I said, our services, our opportunities mesh, but I really think this expansion is going to lead to more efficiencies for our customers and our customers' viewers. So Claire, tell us a little bit about Take One.
Sure, so just looking at the timeline for Take One. Take One was founded nearly 25 years ago, and we initially started off as a company that supported production clients with transcription of raw footage. So very much big reality shows like Big Brother, and we were transcribing large amounts of content to support their editors and to help them to make decisions in the edit. And as we grew, we moved into the North American market. We have lots of customers in North America, we still do. And they very much like the follow the sun model, which allows us to transcribe whilst they sleep due to the time zone difference. So we're able to deliver high quality scripts as they open their business day the following day. We scaled up, and we also introduced new products, and we scaled up our script offering and also access services and localization services. We became preferred suppliers to ITV America and also National Geographic Channel. And we also are preferred suppliers to Discovery Networks. One of the big milestones in our growth was the introduction of Liberty, which was a proprietary software platform that we launched, a transcription platform that enabled us to capture the script as XML data or structured data. And for us, this really unlocked the value of the basic transcript. And it enabled us to introduce many efficiencies that we'll talk about in this session, namely that if we can capture a script as XML, then we can repurpose that into many products such as caption files, subtitling files. After the Liberty launch, we then acquired Verbatim in 2021 and became the official partner to NPR, supporting their broadcasts and podcasts with transcription services. And then most recently, as Heather mentioned, we were acquired by the Verbit Group, and we're now part of the Vitac team working within the Verbit family.
Fantastic. Yes, I think it's really interesting, and I've learned a lot in 2 months. I am really excited about this Liberty platform. I think our customers or content creators have all had the experience of creating captions for one show and then losing it and then having to recaption it. And from what I understand, Liberty will help avoid that problem almost entirely, as long as you start at a certain point in the production process. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly why Liberty was launched. It was to address those inefficiencies and the fact that there is a lot of duplication in this industry. We all know there are so many workflows across the various broadcasters. And what Liberty does as a company, Take One is very much positioned at the beginning of the value chain. We are working at the content end with the producers. So we get access to the content really early, which not all vendors do. So from our perspective, if there are efficiencies that we can gain from doing that, then we try to derive whatever we can out of the content very early on. So our motto is very much to derive data once, and the Liberty platform enables us to capture very rich metadata, speaker labels, and dialogue as structured data, and then we can use that file, which in effect is a map of what's in that content, and that can be repurposed into multiple different products further up the chain. And with that, there are efficiencies that can be gained, and also time savings. So an XML script is a very small step away from a caption file and a subtitle file. But also there are clever things we can do to slice and dice that data. So for example, we can identify how many speakers there are in a show, which is useful for when you're setting up your dubbing process and you're casting your actors for dubbing. We can also look at word count per speaker. We can review where the audio gaps are in the content, which will help us to set up processes for audio description. And then increasingly, we're asked to tag profanities or measurement data, and that's also useful from a localization perspective. So it's a really useful tool. It's designed to deliver efficiencies through the workflow, and to, our aim is to deliver that value back to our customers.
Great, thanks for that brief overview. I'm sure we could say a lot more, and we will. If anybody wants to hear it, just let me know. I want to remind everybody to enter any questions you have in the chat. We're now going to turn to Darren Cleary, who again has vast experience here at Vitac and has some great thoughts about how our customers and Take One customers will be able to work with both companies in the near future, and soon one company. Darren, tell us how you think this is going to change.
Yeah, thanks, Heather. I think one of the most important items is that Take One's approach of really being a true partner to clients is the same as Vitac. So we view our relationships not just as a vendor, but we're very much an extension of your production or your post-production team, and ultimately your brand. So, it's not just picture and sound, it's captions, it's subtitles, it's dubbing, it's audio description. So we're an integral part of clients' programming, and we do take that responsibility very seriously. So it's something that Vitac has always prided itself on, and we're glad to see that approach with Take One as well. So as you can see from this slide here in the supply chain, we're also excited to be able to leverage all of the combined services, the workflows and the experience of our highly skilled teams to offer a true one-stop shop, which will save clients time and streamline workflows and ultimately result in cost savings. So while Vitac has traditionally provided some of these services, and Take One has provided some of them at different levels, different scale in terms of breadth and scope. Combining the two entities together, we now offer everything from that initial transcription, as Claire mentioned, to caption files, audio description files, postscripts, whether they may be basic or detailed, along with translation and subtitling, and dubbing, and the other distribution deliverables that you can see there. So overall, there are a lot of synergies that can be extended to not only our broadcast and cable clients, but also to their outside production company partners who are working with more and more as those requirements get pushed to the outside producers to deliver their content with these deliverables to the networks or the platforms.
Awesome. I mean, it is a big expansion. I mean, Vitek is a growing company. The media market we know is growing. Content is growing. We are seeing a lot more and more requests, I think, for all these varying services. It's no longer enough just to be a caption company or just to be a transcription company, in my mind. Darren, I wondered if you could talk about some of the requests we're seeing from content creators and potential customers, because again, it's no longer just captioning. So what are you seeing more of, and how does this affect what we can offer as a company and what our customers can take advantage of?
Sure. So traditionally, it's typically just been an English caption file has always been the deliverable for many years, but we're now starting to see a lot more requests beyond those traditional English caption files. A lot of OTT and streaming sites are now requiring English captions, Spanish caption file, English audio description, and in some cases, Spanish dubbing also. So we expect to see this trend continue as more of these platforms expand their viewership, not only in the US, but also into other countries as well. So whether it's additional languaging, translation, dubbing, audio description, subtitle files, things of that nature, we'll be positioned to be able to accommodate those.
That's great. And I think one of the things that we have not necessarily struggled with, but learned as this industry evolves, is that there's more of a need to deliver all of this content quickly and at once. Nobody watches a show every week anymore. They binge all 20 episodes at the exact same time. So that requires your captions, your dubbing, your audio description, all to be delivered at the same time. And Claire, I think you mentioned you have a unique approach that enables Take One to deliver all of these services quickly and efficiently to your customers. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's worth pointing out that the dubbing process is a creative process and it does take longer. And, for a really high quality creative execution, there is a certain amount of time that's needed to deliver a really good dubbing solution. But there are things that we can do to cut down the time. I mean, as I was saying earlier, because Take One is positioned at the content end, we do get access to that content really early. So a number of our customers have been asking us to create scripts at Picture Lock, for example. And that allows us to be able to at least get started on some of these processes that Darren was just talking about. So we could start the translation of a script, we can start to cast voice talent, we can start to create subtitle files. And then once that change list is created and the final version of the episode is complete, then we can go back to those products and make the necessary changes and move forward with the rest of the processes. So there is some time to be gained from that perspective. And then also, for a very fast subtitling job, we have in the past chopped up the file into many segments and had multiple linguists work on it and then compile it together. Same for caption files. So if that's in a very, very urgent, if there is a really urgent need, then that's another way that we can look at speeding things up.
Yeah, I think we're all used to the get it done yesterday approach, and I'm excited to have this new technology, these new workflows that help us get things done. Maybe not yesterday, but at least in a time frame as expected by not only content creators but the platforms they have to deliver to. I think that's a hot topic these days, and I'd love to talk more about it. But I did want to ask you both about the future. Like, what do you see coming up in the future in this industry? You both have many years. We all know tech is changing, tech is growing. tell us what you think is growing, not just in accessibility, but dubbing, localization, and how you think that we can play a part in that. Darren, do you mind starting?
Sure. Yeah. So as you mentioned, Heather, kind of back in the day, it was just the traditional broadcast and cable model, and then with the advent of what I call web, mobile, social, there's so much more content that's available out there from media and entertainment producers, distributors. So we're seeing on the live side a lot more requests for what I'll just call web-based events. Again, whether it's from traditional broadcast or cable networks who might have a streaming component, or again, anyone who's in that web, mobile, social space. A lot more requests for UK specific live captioning, and also live captioning in other languages such as Spanish, French, or Portuguese, all of which we can provide. And that could either be for English to the other languages, or same language to same language. And then sticking on the live side, we are seeing live audio description really just within the past year or so has really started to gain some more traction. We've provided live audio description for over half dozen events this year. It's the most we've ever done. And mainly award shows and parades. And the feedback from the live audio description audiences has been very positive. Sticking with audio description, we're also seeing the advent of synthetic audio description, which really goes beyond the kind of traditional robotic voice that some people may be used to hearing. There's a lot of advances in technology for voice options that sound real with inflection and character to them, and even different types of dialects, older, younger, male, female. The turnaround time is faster, the cost is cheaper, and that can really help to increase the amount of audio description that's being provided. We're also seeing advances in ASR for live programming. So as technologies continue to make advancements and the amount of content across platforms increases, there is a need for additional options for live captioning. So to that end, we'll be making an announcement soon about our ASR offering for live captioning, where those instances are applicable for it. It is important to note that many events will still require a human captioner just because of their high profile nature, or the complexity of the subject matter, maybe the speed of dialogue, the number of speakers, background noise, things of that nature. But we will be making that announcement soon. Claire, any other thoughts from your side on future?
Well, I would echo everything that you've just said. And there's a lot of stuff that you just went through that I recognise exactly the same observations from the UK market. I'm excited about bringing live subtitling to the UK market. I think that there is an opportunity for new entrants for live subtitling in the UK market for sure. I've seen in the UK recently a few product launches around automated live subtitling, and I'm excited to learn more about the Vitac product, and I've already got interest from clients on our side that would like to push content through and test that. So yeah, really interested to hear about that launch, and also to go to market in the UK with the live subtitling offering.
Fantastic. And again, as teased, we will hear more about that very soon. I'll keep everyone posted. I appreciate you bringing it up. We're all very excited to be supported by Verbit, who is very technical and very advanced, and it's going to be a great thing. I have now come to my favorite part of the show, questions and answers. I have a couple here. I think this is for you, Claire. Can you include time code stamps throughout transcription? And I know from my experience that people have different requests when it comes to timing. How do you handle those, and what is there a common request that you deal, and how does that work?
Yeah, we have a standard script that has time code at regular intervals. that can change if we get requests for more time codes, that we can certainly make sure that we can put more put more time code within that script. We also get asked for time code start and time code end, which we get asked regularly for. And at that point, you really have very nearly got a caption file, because you've got all the information that's required to then feed into some captioning software. So, I mean, I think the thing about Liberty and Take One is that we have our standard scripts, but we also get very bespoke requests from various clients for different needs, and we are able to adjust our templates to however the clients need them.
Did you have anything to add, Darren? I know we're all about bespoke requests.
Sure. Yeah, it's there as Claire mentioned, it's not really a one size fits all, because different clients have different needs, and we're even seeing with different platforms and deliverables that this platform requires one thing, another platform requires another thing. So having that ability to offer, again, that kind of breadth and scope of services is one of the things that we're excited about, being able to expand beyond what we're offering today. So, will there ever just become one standard caption file? Will there ever become one standard audio description deliverable? In some cases, there are some similarities, but as Claire mentioned, kind of across the board, we are doing a lot of bespoke or customized deliverables based on client needs or platform requirements.
Thanks. Claire, I'm going to combine two for you here now, if you don't mind. We have one that says, can you review or post what languages you support again? And I can provide a list of that, but if you want to just generalize, in real-time captioning, we do English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, language to language, or with translation. I'm sure you have more to add in the globalization of content as well.
Sure.
And then can you also comment on how long it takes to add dubbing or voiceover? What are some considerations involved in that?
Yeah, sure. So from a dubbing perspective, it very much depends on the kind of content. So, for example, a premium brand like The Crown or any episodic content like that, you would implement a lip sync dubbing solution. You would also spend significant time casting the voice talent for a big show like that. So the length of the dubbing process can be quite long. So you would anticipate more than 8 weeks for 4 episodes in a large episodic piece of content, for example. You can shave that down if you're able to do, if you're working on unscripted content, documentaries where it's voiceover based dubbing solution, then it's slightly shorter. But yeah, the dubbing process is a creative process. There are many layers to it. And it's really important that it's executed with the right tone that matches the initial show that is in the original language. So it's a complex process, and it does take time.
I understand. And I didn't address languages for subtitles. Obviously, that's faster than dubbing, but we do have a lot of those, and I'll be happy to send those out afterwards as well. I have a question about radio transcription. I'm interested to know more about radio transcription. I imagine this also applies to podcasts, because everybody has a podcast nowadays. Can you speak more to that, Claire?
Yeah, sure. So at Take One, we are the official partner for NPR. So we transcribe all of their broadcasts and podcast shows. And we do that with a dedicated team of human transcribers based out of Maryland. And we have very fast turnarounds, sometimes 2 to 4 hours. And so that requires, we use in our workflow ASR, but we also have a whole team of transcribers, human transcribers, because the language is technical and it's complicated and it needs that layer of quality. We deliver our scripts to NPR as XML, so that's interesting. It's very much around searchability, being able to search for sound bites and key terms, which is a really important part of podcast transcription, because that also will impact the uptake when it's from an audience perspective. So yeah, it's a big part of what we do, and it's a growth area for us.
Yeah, I think Vitech also does a series of podcasts for some major news organizations. I'm pretty sure we can see your work. If anybody goes to National Public Radio now, you can see the transcripts associated with the shows. And those are an example of the XML transcripts created by Take One. And now it's almost 10:30. I'm very sorry I got us on a little late start, but I promised I'd leave you all at 10:30. I have a number of questions. I have your email addresses. I believe I will make sure everybody gets their questions answered. And I thank you so much for joining me. I think, Cody, is there a thank you card coming up? There is our, yes, there's our info@vitech.com. We have Claire and Darren's contact information as well. You can reach all of us at info@vitech.com. We're happy that you joined us and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, everybody.